Oh, we are live. We are live. What's up, everyone? Harry the Big Dog here. And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the DJ interview. Let me put on my live chat. We are in the midst of DJ Heavy Hitter DJKam's second part of the interview. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone who's watching from the replay. If you are watching from the replay, type in replay and where you are watching from. So, we are going to get this thing going because, last week's interview was the hottest sugar honey iced tea that I have heard, and I heard a lot because I done a lot. You know what I mean? All right, DJ Cam.
What up?
DJ
What up?
Cam.
We
What's
back. We
up,
back.
my brother? We are back. We are
Mm-hmm.
back for hard part 2.
Yeah.
Now, it was a beautiful day in the neighborhood today. I got outside for a few minutes just to check the mailbox. That was it.
Okay. That's
I
still
ain't do
outside. That's still going outside.
I ain't do much today. Oh, what did you end up doing today?
Nothing. Did the show. For those that don't know, I'm on freeagentradio.com or download the app Free Agent Radio from 10 to 1 Monday through Fridays. So I was on the air doing what I do best. A little bit of talk, whole lot of music. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
what I did today. I was pretty much that and downloading music and my typical routine, which is boring to everybody else, which is the life of a DJ. The behind the scenes is where the real work happens.
For
And
real.
when you see the end result, when you see the end result of doing the party, that's the easy part.
That
Or doing radio or whatever it is where you showcase your talent. That's the easy part. But it's all the stuff you do when people aren't watching you that determines and decides who's a little better than who's greater than and less than. You always
right.
gotta remember the greater than less than sign. Yeah.
I don't even know how to do it.
Yeah, I forget which was
The
which.
greater than and the less than.
Shout out to my man JB Productions, Jamal. We use that sign when we talk to each other on Facebook and Messenger and stuff, and on text messages.
If you are live here with us, type in who you are and say what's up to DJ Cam. We're going to get this thing started in about 15 seconds. I just wanted to make sure everything is set up. Cam, we talked about this, so we'll let them in too.
Mhm.
I was telling you I was looking a little shifty last week with the eyes looking at different things. This is a new
Mhm.
program
New things
that
is
I'm
going on
working
here.
with.
Yeah, yeah. New equipment. You got to pay attention to it. It's not what you was using last. We'll say joke and say last season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
last
New
last
season,
season.
upgraded
This
the
is
equipment. Yeah.
I'm upgraded, so I didn't get familiar with this program because it is brand new. So I seemed like I was shifting and looking around a lot because I
Mhm.
was looking for different things, different buttons to push. So I just
All
wanted to
good.
let everybody
Yep.
in on that. I don't know why. What's up? Hey,
There go the
if
eye
you
shifting is going to start now.
it is
Wait, if we gonna be transparent, we're gonna be transparent. So
for
someone
real.
just sent us a message, has no name on it, just says hi Cam and Harry.
Yes,
No name.
that
So
must be from the group. If you are in the group, in the description in the group, there's a link. Plus, I put it in the comments. There's a link for you to press in order for us, in order for this program to give Facebook permission. It's only in groups. If you're anywhere else, YouTube, my homepage, Cam's page. If you're anywhere else, you'll see it, but it's only in groups. I don't know what the deal is with groups in Facebook, but you need permission, and there's a link in there. Just click it. I think it's only like 2 or 3 clicks, and then we'll be able to see who you are. So, DJ Cam, are you ready?
Yeah, no.
Are you ready?
I don't know what the real right answer was. No, give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back. I don't know.
we are ready.
It's always got love.
So, bro,
so what we gonna pick up from the last?
Yes, it's your sister. So
Oh.
we're gonna pick up for those who are just joining us for the second part. This is the second of 2 parts. The first part we talked about Cam's first career. We are celebrating his 40 years in this industry, in this DJ world. 40 years, and that was as of last year November, correct?
Yes.
Last year November 2021 November, he celebrated 40 years. We're just getting on the air and helping him celebrate. So in the first one, if you missed it, we'll send a link a little bit later, and whoever's on the replay, the link will already be in there. We talked about Cam's career from how he got started at the age of how old you said you was? 6 months?
Yeah, 13 and 6 months right now. 13, basically 13. 1981 to be exact, to put a stamp on the timeline. 81, and we went up to
2000, the end of 1999.
No, we didn't go to 2000. We didn't go to 2000.
The end of 99, right?
No,
we didn't. Come on, man.
I'm just telling you, we ended when I was on PRB. That ended in 94, and
we got to 97.
From 94 to 97, I was just DJing. I was working at the Sound Express, and I was just DJing. No radio, no extra things were going on. Just parties, events, and just DJing. 97. Now we got to move. That's when stuff started to shift. That's when the shift came, and the mountain started to climb, and the uphill walk started.
Yes.
So we're in 97, mid 97.
So we'll start off there at the end of 97, and we're gonna take it to today. I don't know how long this thing gonna run, but we are gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm amped already. I'm amped.
Patient.
I got my cinnamon tea with me,
I
won't lose my voice.
I got notes, so we're gonna be patient. We're gonna walk this dog real slow. This is where it gets to getting.
So, Cam, let us go. Hey, we got Chad with us. What's up, Chad?
Hey.
He's saying he's an old radio person and old radio DJ. Oh, yo, it's been a minute. I didn't know that, Chad. I got to get you on my show. This is the DJ interview. So, Cam, let's go on with this. I'm gonna give the stage to you, and we gonna go with this.
All right, so we're in 97, DJing, working. And my version of it being a regular cat, the split thing, wasn't a full-time DJ just yet. So doing that, started a friend of mine, Michael Sean, started doing a comedy show. So we're doing a comedy show. It's down in Camden, real small starting. When I say it started out small, it started out small.
Yeah.
First room, I forget the name of the spot. I know when the sister's gonna pop it up on the thing. If it held 40 people, 50 people, that was, the size of the room when it started. Called the First of the Month Comedy Jam for those down here in the South Jersey area, Philly area that remember. Started small. We moved to a couple of rooms. I'm kind of going to shuffle through it a little quick. We moved to like 2 spots in Camden. Then we went to the aquarium, the Camden Aquarium, when it first opened in Camden, New Jersey. We were there for like about a half a year. Then we moved to the Woodbine Inn, which is in Pennsauken. The room we were in by that time held, if I'm correct, 900 people. So we went from a room that held 50 people tops to a room that held 900. And when I tell you all 900 seats were filled, they were filled.
Wow.
We were doing this the first Saturday of every month. So that was our situation, that I was in. That was the biggest thing I was doing at the time. Now, backtrack a little bit off of that. We're doing the first of the month. One night we're packing up. This guy comes up to us, and Mike's in there not really helping me out, to tell the truth. Mike was just in there with me while I'm packing the equipment.
This is a real show. We gotta be real.
Gotta be real. So packing up, me and him were talking, entertaining each other, whatever. This guy comes up and asks us if we're on the radio. We start laughing. Nah, we ain't on no radio. I made him a smart comment like, yeah, we on WKAM, whatever. And he was like, word? I was like, that's not a station. I said, that's just my name, bro, with a W in front of it. He was like, oh, okay. Gave us a card. Like, give me a call. I worked for the morning show. Smoking Tony Richards was the morning show in Philly. So by this time, Radio 1 came into Philadelphia. Wasn't even there maybe a year. So it was a new station, and had a lot of energy behind it because there was no other. Now there were 2 urban stations competing for the younger demographic in Philly. Before it was just one station. Gave us his card, so we called him. About 2 weeks later, have a meeting. Smoking Tony Richards, blah 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 blah. Speeding it up a little bit. They put us on, right? Not getting paid, any of that, blah blah blah. But at that point, it didn't even matter. So we're on their show. So we're doing these, I forgot what they really called it, but like street hits. So we were up at like 6 a.m, going to the station, driving around different parts of the city. And they would do 1 or 2 segments where they would come to us wherever we were at in the city. Sometimes we'd be giving out tickets, or if there was a contest or what have you, we would be doing that. So we're doing that. Then the idea of me doing a mix comes about. So I do a mix called the Shower Mix. It was a 30-minute mix that aired at, if I'm correct, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. Come to find out, didn't know at the time that I was the first DJ to actually do a mix show in the morning in Philadelphia. Didn't know it at the time. Yeah,
nice.
Didn't know at the time, but found out later that I was the first cat to do a mix show in the morning. So doing that, pre-recorded, wasn't doing it live. Then someone came up with the idea of extending it, going back to the producer. I'm so mad I can't think of his name right now. It's going to come to me when the interview's
over. when it's over.
We should do something live, So I'm like, oh, now we talking. Because remember, I was on PRB. We were doing that live. So I wasn't used to the pre-record thing versus being on the radio live. So I was itching to be on live. So I said, Friday, we'll do it. And we'll extend it. It'll be an hour instead of a half an hour. So I'm really like, let's go. Yeah, we ready to have this. Philly about to get it. So we do that. Goes over great. Quick short story to add on to the short story that's getting long. I broke a record. A lot of people know Lord Tariq Peter Guns. Uptown. Playing that record. Had it very early. Was playing it. Got pulled in the office. Had to talk about it. Why was I playing this New York-based song? So it's not a New York-based song. The guys just happen to be from New York, just like just about 90% of the groups that were from New York at that time. Like,
For real.
But my thing was, the song was called Uptown. I said, every city has an uptown or somewhere that they consider an uptown. There was an uptown in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? There was an uptown theater. You know what I mean? So it was to me, it felt like it still made sense, even though it was a group out of New York. Tell me to not play it. So I stopped playing it for a couple of weeks. The song hits. Then they want to bring it back. Now they're playing it. Now it's cool for me to play, but I was playing it a whole month and a half beforehand, and it was a New York City record at the time. So we're doing all that, doing the shower mix. Smoking Tony Richards is helping us out tremendously. We get a sit down with the program director at the time, which was Mike Fox. Shout out to Mike Fox. Pound for pound, the best program director that I ever had in my whole radio career, pretty much. Didn't know it at the time, though, because I was still learning the game. Didn't know it at the time, but when I reflected, after being on radio and when I was in Philly, I had a lot of program directors.
DJ Kam, explain to everybody what a program director is and does.
Okay,
right
program director is the boss of the station, pretty much. He's the hands-on guy. Oversees all the decisions that the station makes, to what concerts they're tied in with, what songs are being played, the people that are being hired that are on air, and just overseeing everybody who is on air. Make sure you're doing your job right. You're not doing, anything wrong or out of line, or saying the wrong things on air, or playing the wrong music on air and things like that. So we get a meeting with Mike Fox now, because me and Mike are like kind of in our bag. Me and Michael Sean, like, man, we need our own show. Yeah, Philly ain't ready for this. We need our own show. So get the meeting, pitch him the idea for the show. We went in real confident, and I don't know what we were expecting, but he was like, yeah. And he kind of was like real nonchalant about it. Like, I thought we was going to get the hard no. Mm-hmm. He was like, yeah, matter of fact, you guys are starting like about 2 weeks. So it was like, yo, didn't expect the yes. It didn't expect the 2-week turnaround. Like, now the pressure was on us. First it was the level of cockiness, just going in, trying to think you could get it, but they're going to probably say no. Then he says, yes. Then he says, yeah, within 2 weeks, get you on the air. We were on Sunday nights. We were on right after Lady B. For those that know, here in the Philadelphia area, Lady B is legendary. Legendary. Big shout out to Lady B. So we got our shot to do our show. It's called Michael Sean's World. 2-hour show. Me DJing, Mike hosting. And we just ran with it. We just ran with it. And that was the beginning of me transitioning, back, getting on major radio. It really came from the comedy show, which we were still doing as all this was happening. So as we're growing, the comedy show's growing. That was the going back.
Wow, one is feeding the other.
That's why the rooms were getting bigger, because now that we're on radio, the audience is increasing, because now we're able to talk about it on air.
Right.
So it worked hand in hand. The room grew. We're doing that. We had the comedy show, after party, crazy situation. We're doing the radio thing. Then this goes on and runs for about the comedy show, maybe about 2 years, maybe 3 years. Once we got on radio, because it was running for a good year and almost 2 years before we even got on radio. Once we got on radio, it ran about the same amount of time. I'll say about 2.5 years. So we're doing that. We're on radio. Then we get moved to Saturday nights. Then we're on. We were doing Sundays for a little bit still. Then they gave us a Saturday from 6 to 9, which was right before the live broadcast, which Philly was very big on and very known for, where they would do a Saturday night thing where they would broadcast live from a club from 9 to 2 in the morning. So we were the lead in to that. We're doing that. Then the Saturday, on the Sunday rather, faded out. And the Saturday was, definitely a better night than being on Sundays and Sundays, I forgot to mention the time. Sundays we were on from 10 to midnight. So we moved to the Saturdays. We're doing that. We're still doing the comedy show. It's getting bigger and bigger. And that was the radio thing. That just from there, I stayed, and that was Radio 1. Now you want to get into all the call letters and the different dials that the station was called, because Radio One probably bought about 3 or 4 stations in Philly during my 10 years, my first 10 years with them. I'm not even trying to remember, but Radio One, I was with them for 10 years, from late 97 to like, I guess, what, 08.
So let me ask you a question. There
Mhm.
was a station for all the old heads. There was a station called WDAS out there
Mhm.
in Philly. Were you guys in competition with them
Well,
or
they were
no?
the other, urban station, but that wasn't the station we were in competition with, because they were an
Okay.
AC station. We were playing the younger music, so we were kind of in competition with the sister station of DAS, which is Power 99.
Okay. Power
Yeah,
99. Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
remember
that's
that
what
one
that's what
too.
we were up against, and we would, Radio One was just going through a whole lot of changes and making, just different situations, and in that, I went through a series of different program directors, which program director is ultimately your boss. So within my 10-year run, I actually worked for, I think it was six different program directors. So you can kind of do the math. The turnaround was almost every a year and a half. Nothing beyond two
Wow.
years. You got a new boss, new ideas. People's air shifts getting shifted around, and people getting let go, new people coming in. But
Mm.
I was able to survive that. I say all that to say that Saturday night slot from 6 to 9, I did from the moment they gave it to me to the last day I was there on my
Mm.
first run, my first go around with Radio One. So I did that for 10 years. In the midst of that, I got a couple of shows. One called the Midnight Run. I did that for a couple of years. It was on Friday nights from midnight to 2. Did that for about 2 or 3 years. Did the 12 noon mix for about a year and a half. And that was during one of the program directors that came in, put me there. Then when he left, I left the 12 o'clock slot when the new, program director came in. But did that run. And during that run, that's when a whole lot of things changed in terms of, just my DJ career. And then at that point, being in the industry and all the tie-ins, like I said, I had to write this stuff down because I couldn't even remember all of it off the top of my head, like the people I was affiliated with and stuff that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say, just to cap stuff and not maybe get too involved with it. I started a record pool during
Wow.
that time. And my
What was the
sister
name
ran,
of the record pool?
South Jersey All-Star Record Pool. Had an office in Philadelphia. Shout out to my man, Dre Hawkins. We shared office space. He had office space. He was cool enough to let me share the space with him. We had both went to the Art Institute of Philadelphia together. When I went to
Right.
school, I did a little bit of college, just a little touch. I come to find out it wasn't necessary, but I did it. So I had the record pool. Also, before that, kind of backpedaling, before I got on radio, transitioning from working at a record store, 2 friends of mine decided to open a record store in our town, our hometown, Willingboro, New Jersey, called Music Factory. So I went and ended up working for them, and then decided I wanted some ownership. I said it didn't make sense for me to just come and work for you guys because I
Right.
knew what I was bringing to the table. So they decided to give me a little piece. I had my little small piece of it, and did that for about 3 years. And that was in the transition of me not being on the radio as I got on radio. Because as I got on radio, I was spending more time at the station than I was at the store. So I segue out of that. And also during that time, that's when the different type of parties came into play. I did stuff with McNabb. Yeah, sweet 608. Yep.
You
Um,
knew it was gonna come, right?
yeah. I did stuff with Donovan McNabb. He had a kids clinic that he did every summer. I did that for like about 3 years. For 3 years. What else? I see, like I said, I had to write this stuff down, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Grab this paper and stuff. Um,
So
I
let,
also,
let me ask
sorry,
you this
go ahead.
before you really get into the meat of everything. From this point, who who that's out there right now, DJ wise, have you worked with or wanted to work with up until this point here? And this is the end of the 90s right now.
Wanted to work with. Well, I was always following Red Alert's career. I always kind of put myself in his bag. I didn't do more. I love Marley Marl as well, but Marley had magic, so they moved different. Red was kind of like on his own, and I felt like that's kind of how my run was. So was really watching him and kind of trying to make the same type of moves and paying attention to the opportunities that were coming to me,
Right.
and using him as a reference, you know, to see how I want to move or how I should move, or is that a good move, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say Red Alert, who I did eventually end up meeting, doing a lot of stuff with. Shout out to Ike C, who bridged that situation. Friends to this day. I actually have Red Alert's phone number in my phone. Mind blowing. That was to never happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm growing up, recorded him and got mad cassette tapes of him. Never thought I would ever meet him. Had the pleasure of meeting him. Thought that'd be the end of that.
Can we play a clip of him?
Can we play it?
Of Red Alert?
I don't have a clip. You have a clip?
I got a clip.
You got a clip? You got a clip? Show me a clip.
Watch this, everyone.
Hey, Cam. Yo, Cam. What's the deal, man? You know who it is. Ha ha. Hey, I heard it's the 4-0, man. Congratulations. All the best. Many more. You know the true thing about this, man? That you can go ahead, look back, and see what it was from day one to where you at right now, and what you accomplished, and what you got involved with, and who you chained along with. Yo, you made a lot of friends, you made a lot of fans, a lot of supporters that believed in you, man. And the pleasure about being on them turntables, you got to exchange yourself with a lot of other situations that go further and further. Congratulations, man. Happy anniversary. 40 years? Do me a favor. Don't catch up with me, man. Respect to you, man. Love you, boss. Cam. All the best.
That was dope. I've seen it for the first time too, good people. I let that know.
Oh man. That was like a dope thing to do to one of the fellow DJs. He's been in it a little longer than you.
Oh yeah.
When you started, Red probably had 20 years in.
Yeah, just about. Nah, man, that was dope. I appreciate that. Good look, Red. Really, really appreciate it. Real
no
talk.
Problem.
Wow.
No problem.
Never saw this coming like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, being a young cat, just recording him and studying him was to never meet him. That wasn't I didn't even ask for that or think of that. That wasn't even an option, you know?
Right. Oh, so the other part to that question of who did you want to work with? Who did you work with from the time you started up until the point where we are now, towards the end of the 90s?
Oh man,
that you can remember.
There's a lot of people. Like I said, the PRB days kind of set the tone because we dealt with everybody who was hot during that time. Like I said, from that 89 to 94, everybody that was out, we dealt with to a certain extent. Then that kind of picked back up when I got on radio in Philly, because Philly was bigger and the artists were bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody, man. I'll go ahead and just little quick stuff. We had Fat Joe here in Willingboro. Like I said, I was a co-owner of a record store called Music Factory. We had Fat Joe and the Terror Squad at the store, you know, due to the fact that and this is when I might have been on radio about a year.
That's dope.
Crystal Isaac, who worked at Atlantic, worked that out for me. So we got him Catano's cheesesteaks. For those that know, here in the area, they say Philly has the best cheesesteaks. I'm up for the argument with that. Feels though South Jersey has the best cheesesteaks. Catano's. That's just a shameless plug. I'm not supported by them or sponsored by them at all,
For
but I'm just
real.
going to tell the
And
truth.
fed by them, the chicken parmesan.
Yeah. So you already know the size of it, everything. So yeah, we had Fat Joe, Fat Joe. Oh man, clips. I was just talking to Super. I did the album release party for Flip Mode Squad's first and ended up the only album. Did the album release party for that. Buster was down a couple of times. He had popped up at one club I did as a favor. Had to kind of let a promoter know, where I really stood in the game, and was fortunate enough to be able to have Buster come in and do a quick walkthrough. Jumped on the mic for a minute. Man, just so many artists. I can't even get into all, but just once again, when I got on radio in Philly, it changed. The energy was different. I mean, Tony Braxton. I'm talking like Terry Ellis from In Vogue, who I was technically supposed to marry. Line up right. Some things be happening, and but
now I've been in your studio, and everybody don't know, but up above his head, there's a whole slew of pictures with
Ja Rule,
pretty much everybody
Onyx.
you can know.
Oh yeah, me and Mariah. Yeah, me and Mariah.
Yeah,
Mariah Carey.
that's like right behind your head.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, yep. A lot of people, man. Just everybody that was out during that time, kind of ran through, seeing them. Seen Jay-Z, Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
G-Dep. Had him on an interview with him. Kanye, who was big for me because we as the heavy hitters, we dealt with Kanye. I know the Netflix special is out now, and during that time when he was first coming out, especially around the time when he did his own, pay for his own video and all that.
Right.
We, as the heavy hitters, as a collective, were very supportive of his movement even before Rockefeller kicked in. So he had came, and I had the show, as I said at the time, called the Midnight Run, on the name on the hat. Shout out to Nas. He came to my show. I did the very first interview with Kanye in Philly. Then he came back a second time, and by that time, he had things they started moving, and even got to the point that the station was trying to use my influence to get him to come back a third time. And it took a while, for that to happen, because he was just, his career, once it hit.
Yeah.
But we were involved in that, tied in with that. And but yeah, as far as the groups, endless groups, a lot of people that some you don't know. Just
one of the people that a lot of people, I'm sure, know about is Kevin Hart.
Oh my God, yeah, Kevin Hart. Yeah.
And I know you told me stories about that whole situation and his beginnings in comedy out there.
Yeah, Michael Sean discovered him. Like, I'm not even gonna say discovered him, but Mike saw him at a what was it? Funny Bone was a comedy spot in Philly, and he saw him on Amateur Night. And like I said, we were doing that once in a month comedy thing, holding about 900 people a month with that. And we wanted to get him on the bill, and the promoters didn't know who he was, so they were like, nah. So me and Mike actually paid him to do his set. We took money out of what we got to pay him. Didn't let him know, made it seem like the promoters paid him or whatever.
When he see this, he gonna know.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure Mike already told him at this point, but yeah, we did that for him. And then we ended up doing it was funny, a little like college tour. We did Glassboro State, which now is Rowan, but it was Glassboro at the time, Stockton University, and there was a couple of community colleges. And it was so funny because at that time the lineup was Michael Sean was the headliner, Kevin Hart was the opener, and I was the DJ, for the comedy joint.
Yeah.
Shout out to Robert Williams. And I can't remember my man's name. He had passed away. He was like Kevin Hart's first first manager. Oh, I can't think of his name. It escapes me. He's such a good dude. And but that was the link. And Robert Williams, I'm still in contact with him. He's out in Atlantic City. So I know when he sees this, he's gonna bug out. But and then he ended up managing me some years later, actually, from that relationship.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, well, a lot of dealt with a lot of people, met a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Like it's you got me kind of just in that mode of trying to even remember and think of different people. This is like
I smell your hair burning. You thinking so hard.
The little bit I got left, no doubt.
I lend you one of mine.
Yeah, I need some of that. Word.
Oh, so guys, I don't know about everyone in the audience, but his story is like, and you wouldn't normally hear anything like this. We had to pull stuff out of Cam, me and his sister, like, we got to do something for the 40th. No, we got to do something.
Yeah. I try to be laid back with it, but
story is amazing. And all right, so we're at the end of the 90s.
Early 2000s, on the
early
radio,
2000s,
getting seasoned, getting my feet wet, getting to kind of understand the industry, meeting people. Like I said before, the whole record pool situation started. Had the record, co-owner of the record store, then that faded. And in the midst of that, 2001, I joined the Heavy Hitters, which was a very young organization. There you go. Logo, loud and proud. That was 2001. Member wise, I think it was less than 20 guys in the crew collectively. I was the first heavy hitter to become a heavy hitter that was not located in New York. Even though I'm from New York, technically with the heavy hitter thing and the DJ thing, I was looked upon as a Philly DJ because I was on radio in Philadelphia. Right. Most of the DJs that were heavy hitters at that time were all on radio in New York. But I was the first guy that they got outside of the city. So I was kind of the test to see how that would work. And then after I kind of worked out, we got other cats like Farish from Chicago, Felly Fell from LA. Then it started carrying on from there. And I think now I can't even, I know we're maybe a little bit shy of 70 DJs now, if I'm correct, in the crew.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gotten big to the point. There was a time I knew everybody in the crew. And when I say I knew them, meaning had a conversation with them, been in the same room with them. But now it's gotten to the point, sometimes I'll hear names and won't even know if they're heavy hitters or not. Shout out to Enough. Shout out to Eric Paula. Shouts out to also to an RIP to DJ Threat. DJ Threat was the real reason that I became a heavy hitter. It's kind of like the Jackson 5 story where they say Diana Ross discovered him, but it was really Gladys Knight. So DJ Threat is the Gladys Knight. And Enough's kind of the Diana Ross of that situation. He presented me, but DJ Threat discovered me, in terms of becoming a heavy hitter. So
right.
DJ Threat and Eric Paula, who's now the president of Def Jam Records. The two of them were coming to see me at this club I was DJing in Trenton, and made that decision. And it was like, yo, we got to tell E about you, man. Come on, you want to be? And I was like, yeah, I'm down. Now keep in mind, to tell a little quick story. At that same time, Flex was doing a lot of stuff in Philly. So I had built a relationship with Flex.
Say the full name for everybody that don't know.
Okay, for everybody doesn't know, Funk Master Flex, Hot 97. I mean, it's going down, drop a bomb on them. The Piper don't get gas, however you know him. He was coming down, so I built a relationship with him. And he had a crew called the Big Dog Pitbulls. So I'm gonna let you know where my cockiness was kicking in. I said, yo, I'm not saying this to a bunch of people. I'm just kind of saying this to myself because of how the relationship was building.
Right.
Yo, dogs, I'm about to be a Big Dog Pitbull. It's about to be crazy. So I'm just waiting on because every time he would come to Philly, he would reach out because he would be doing events for the rival station, which was Power 99. But he would come and hang out on me and Michael Sean's show. He'd be sitting in the studio. You just couldn't go on air because he was doing stuff with the other station.
Right.
We were in there eating food, hanging out, whatever. So I was like, yeah, it's about to go down, Needless to say, it never
this
went
is all
down.
the behind the scenes stuff that nobody knows about.
Yeah. It never went down.
When Folkmaster Flex hears this, when he sees this, he gonna be like, yeah.
Overlook him. No, I wasn't even interested. Yeah. But it was just something that was in my head, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I created that whole situation in my head. I was like, yeah, it's about to go down. I say, because you don't have nobody from Philly. That was my whole thing. And then, as I'm saying that, that's when the situation was coming about with the heavy hitters with Threat, speaking about me and saying, yo, I got to tell you enough about you. I got to tell you enough about you, And a little quick story inside of that, my sister was the one who really got me to know who Enough was years prior when he was doing the morning show on Hot 97. My sister was working like in the Princeton area. So she would hear Hot 97 on her way to work. She was like, yo, there's this guy on Hot 97 Cam and be on in the morning. And she said, he be DJing in the morning like he in the club. And she was serious. My sister been around DJs and around me. So she had a feel for, she was like, but he's dope. But she said the way he be DJing like 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning, she said, I don't even want to see him in the club because he be going in. So I said, okay. So she told me his name, and I had not heard of him prior to her even telling me that. And then his name comes back up when the whole heavy hitter thing comes about. You know what I'm saying? So I had reference and what my sister had said about him. And then I think at one point I started buying some of his mixtapes as well. So I had a little more reference and knew, a little bit more about Enough, because I had no idea at the time that he DJ'd, for Biggie and the Junior Mafia and all that. Like, I didn't know that at the time when I first became a heavy hitter. she with the Melly Mel, you're welcome. My sister's hilarious. Oh my God. Yeah, so that's all what was going on at that time. So this is, early 2000. Real quick before I forget, gotta do the brag. So they have this event that started in 99 called the Mix Show Power Summit. It was a convention strictly for DJs, for all the radio DJs across the country that would get invited.
Right.
First year it happened, I didn't get invited. I wasn't on the board yet. I was still getting my situation figured out in Philly. But what it did for me, because that year, I think Touchtone and Jay Ski went. They're gone. So they were gone. I covered all their shifts. So for that weekend, it was like a Thursday to Sunday. There was a time, and I was still doing the morning mix at that time. So I was on in the morning. I covered for Touchtone in the noon. I covered for Jay Ski for the drive home. And then Jay Ski was also on at 8 o'clock. And I covered for him for 8 o'clock. So there were times I was, for that 3 or 4 days, I was on literally 3 or 4 times each day, that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So that gave me a lot of exposure, opened me up. A lot of people were really starting to get familiar with me.
Yeah.
But after that year, I started getting invited to the Mix Show Power Summit. So they had award shows and things of that nature, showcases for different artists and things of that, things of that setting for the DJs. You get exposed to new music, new artists. The actual artists would be there, things of that nature. Jay-Z, Diddy would attend this. Pharrell, you name it, whoever was, Timberland, the cats that were popping at that time would actually be at these conventions, pushing, their artists or whatever projects they were working. So mention all that to say 2003, I'm up for East Coast DJ of the Year. So I end up winning. 2003, I was the East Coast DJ of the Year for Mix Show. And
wow, bro.
I shared it with Jazzy Joyce. Me and Jazzy Joyce both won that year. She was on Hot 97 at the time, and we both won. Yeah, so that was my as I call it in sports and basketball terms, that was my all-star breakout year. That was the year you couldn't see me. You could see me. I was an all-star that year.
Jason is asking you this question. At what time, at the time that you went big time, what was the toughest gig you did that you didn't know if you could pull it off?
I have to be honest. I didn't have that because
you was too cocky for that, right?
Man, I was ready for whatever, dog. Like, you know,
it wasn't Del State, no nothing.
No, no. I'll go ahead and tear that down. You kidding me? I treat everything like a sport. Remember, I played basketball, so to me, I'm always up for the battle and I'm always up for competition. And then with the DJing, oh Lord, come on. I know what I'm doing. I get behind them turntables. I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Anybody that really knows me, I will admit it, knows that. Yeah, that's a good question. But I actually fast forwarding a little bit. Once I got on XM satellite radio, I did the what was the name of that tour? Oh my goodness. It was the tour with all the younger artists, and they had a special little name for it. The Scream Tour. I don't know if you remember that, where they had like Bow Wow and Sierra. No. Who else was on it? T-Pain. It was like some of the groups that kind of catered more so to the younger audience in a sense. Okay. And they called it the Scream Tour. Who else? B2K was on that. And I got that situation through XM. XM was a sponsor of that. And I got to go on that tour and be the opening DJ and DJ'd in between the acts. Right. I did that for like 4 or 5 cities. And they played in arenas. So that was the biggest, stage I'd ever been on, playing for a room that holds like 20 to 30,000. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like, you would think the average person would be all nervous and scared. And when I went to do that, they didn't have a budget for me to bring anybody, so I'm literally by myself. I had no issues with playing that music in front of 25,000 people. Like, I was cool with it. I was like, this is great. Like, it actually was almost bad because when I went back to like this doing a regular club.
Like what? Only 2,000 people in here?
This
is a slow night.
Yeah, we call it, you do a room that had 1,000 people. I'm calling it a lounge. I'm like, this little lounge spot, 1,000 people.
There was a couple people in here. Or like 2,500.
Yeah, so like I said, with the Mix Show Power Summit, I did win that in 2003, which was, that was a big deal. Like, real talk, got a plaque and everything on the wall from that. And that was a great accomplishment, because other DJs were the ones that, voted and decided that.
Right.
So, you're getting that from your peers, and that was pretty big,
Yeah.
To know a lot of DJs across the country, felt that year, I was the best mix show DJ on the East Coast. So that was hot. That was good.
That's
that was
dope,
big.
Bro.
That dope. As I'm looking at the timeline, now I got to really look. So that takes us like about 2001, 2002, 2003. So by that time, now it moves. I'm on radio in Philly, established, locked in. This new situation comes about. It's called XM Radio. It's a satellite. XM Radio satellite. It's not FM. It's not internet. Neither one, the internet doesn't even exist, at this time in terms of the radio and the popularity of it. A friend of mine tells me about it by the name of Puerto Rico Rob, who worked at Loud Records. And his description of it was perfect. He said, just imagine radio, but converting it into cable television. And that's what this XM thing is. And when he said that, I got it. He said, because it's not regional. Right? He said, it's not regional. He said, the same person that can hear you in New York, cat in LA can hear you. Same exact time on that same station. I said, yo, I like that. I said, nah. He said, yo, if you want me to connect you to the person, I said, please. Maybe a month goes by. I get hired at XM Satellite Radio. I was the 3rd DJ hired. 1, 2, 3. Third guy hired. I was hired. Station, the company itself was up for about a year. So I watched the growth of XM Radio grow. I was a part of that. I was very proud of that. And went from, I forget how many subscribers they've had, but it went up to, it peaked at like about, before they did the merge, which I think it was about 2,000 or almost 3,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, it was, I go back to that whole reference of it being based off of like cable television. So you had to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's how they were able to know how many people participated, with listening to the station by the subscriptions.
Yeah.
So they were up to like, about 3 million before they did the merge with Sirius Radio, which was direct competition. They weren't as good as XM. I'm not even saying
that's who I end up getting first is Sirius Radio. Way back when they started, they had a one-time fee of $500. Ooh. And I'd seen where this was coming, so I purchased it. I still listen to it today, and I ain't got to pay nothing because I got in that early. And then they merged.
Yes.
So I get all the stations.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, so I got with them early, was running with them. I was on at one point there was 6 urban stations. I was on 3 or 6 out of the 6.
Wow.
Old school channel, the hip hop and R&B channel, and then there was a channel that played, underground hip hop, strictly dirty. It was like a mixtape kind of channel. I did all 3, and then had to transfer and just end up doing 2, for political reasons. Won't even get into all that. Keep the interview very positive and happy.
Yeah, and PG.
yeah. So had that run. Yeah, so that's, I don't even know, is that written on there?
So let me ask you this about the music selections on there. Did people flock to it because they were playing good music, or they were playing the dirty versions, the explicit versions of the music?
It was options. There was only one station that played dirty. All the other ones were just like regular FM stations. You know what I'm saying? But I think in the beginning, it was slow because I had a couple of friends, believe it or not, that were truck drivers that had bought into that. And they would hit me up like, yo, Cam, I'm in so-and-so listening to you. Like, this is so crazy. And I'm like, this is dope that I can get to hear you. And I'm all the way in, Idaho or wherever. You know what I'm saying? So it was, to me, it seemed like it was really for people that did a lot of traveling and moving around. But then it started picking up. Then people started getting, because like I said before, just like regular cable, like TV used to be free. Yeah. So the concept of paying into it kind of was like,
why? I ain't messing with that.
Yeah, exactly. So it took a while to hit, but once it hit for people that were really into music, it hit, and it was different. It definitely XM. I can't speak for Sirius, but XM was definitely different than being on XM. I mean, I'm being on regular FM radio. There was a lot more room to break new music, play new artists. Me as a DJ, I could play things that I wanted to play without the pressure of the program director, calling you and questioning some of the stuff you're playing and why you're playing it. And
what are you doing? That's not in the rotation.
Exactly. So and there was, and that was the thing with XM, there was no rotation. Shout out to Lisa Lease, who was my program director when I was on XM. Great program director. It was just a lot of room. And it was, for me, it was a great balance from what I was doing on Philly radio and then being on XM at the same time. Whatever I couldn't do on Philly radio, I knew I could do it on XM. And the art and as far as my reach of audience, it was just the same, but it was people across the whole United States and Canada. It wasn't just restricted, to Philadelphia, the Delaware Valley, which, is Delaware, Philly, South Jersey. It's like it was a bigger audience and wide, more widespread. So that was like a beautiful thing. So I was loving that, and I was doing those 2 things at the same time. Then maybe 2 years later, Music Choice, which is a channel also on television. It wasn't even a radio thing. They decided to have music being played on their platform instead of just doing videos. Charles Dixon kind of helped me out with that. He was the only cat on there DJing for years. They decided they wanted to start bringing some DJs in. Did a call from him, asks me if I want to do it. I said, yeah. You know, I actually had the nerve to say, as long as it's not a conflict of interest with me being on XM or on radio in Philly, because I'm not going to give up either one of them to be on their platform.
Right.
He was like, no, they don't consider themselves competition, so that's not an issue. I said, oh, man, let's do it. Got with Music Choice. So I was DJing on Music Choice. So at one point, for about 3 years, say from 2004 to like 2000, almost to 2008, I was on all three platforms at the same time. So I was on Music Choice, XM Satellite Radio, and was also on radio in Philadelphia, which at that time was the number 5, fighting between number 5 and number 6 market in the country. So
now to refresh everybody, we gave them a little sneak peek last week about this conversation right here. How many listeners did you have while you were on these 3 platforms? Estimated. I know it ain't, you know, accurate, but estimated. How many listeners did you have?
What's called Music Choice was, I'm gonna say I don't even. Oh my gosh, definitely more than 5,000. Maybe a little bit less than 10. I mean, not thousand, million. I'm sorry, million with a capital. What million stand with? M. Yeah. I would say between 5 million and 10 million listeners, if collectively, if you were to put all those numbers together, you know,
bro, that is amazing. This is somebody listening to you, DJ.
For 3 years. For 3 years, not 3 months, not 3 days, not a weekend, not a one-off, for 3 years. And some cats aren't even on the radio for 3 years, let alone on 3 major platforms like that for 3 years. Yeah.
Yes. And this was on a monthly basis, a weekly basis, a daily basis.
What, those numbers?
Those numbers.
No, because keep in mind with Philly being number 5. So that's about the amount of people listening when you're on, not a monthly. That's like a daily.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're talking millions of people heard you.
If what I was doing at that time, those 3 years, if I could take those 3 years and inject it in the era of all this social media, man, oh man, this would be a whole different interview.
Everybody who's watching right now, even people from the replay, type in MIL, mill, because I don't know how to spell millions. So type in MIL. Yo, that, you know, I've heard some of your story. I'm hearing the whole thing in sequence now, but this is why I wanted to do this 40 years so bad, to refresh everybody, to refresh the room. We are celebrating Kam's 40 years in this DJ world, in this DJ industry, and he's just taken us through decade of what he's done. And we're only in the mid 2000s right now. And you talk about millions, most likely millions per day.
Yes.
Of listeners hearing you play music that you started when you were 12 and didn't get paid for until you was 13.
Yes. Yep.
So
this is the mountain of mountains at this point.
Oh man,
bro.
this is so Dope Mill.
And also keep in mind, when I was doing, just to set the tone, when I was doing XM and Music Choice, that's when I got into the whole thing of doing radio at home.
Right.
All the world of what I call pre-record, which is really probably good 75% of what's going on now in radio, especially when the pandemic hit. Like it really changed everything. But I was doing that back in 2004, pre-recording for 2 platforms, and then going in Philly, going to do it live because it was right here in Philly. I'm right here in the Philadelphia area.
Right.
Yeah, because the other platforms, it wasn't. XM was in DC, the main office, and Music Choice was in New York. But Music Choice, once again, keep in mind, it wasn't a radio station; it was a television station. So they didn't even have a setup for anyone to go live. There was no way to do the radio side of things. Music Choice did have the facilities, but it was, like I said, it was all the way in DC. So the concept of going all the way down there to do a show was just, didn't make any sense. So that brought the whole concept of doing everything from home.
Literally, you started doing pre-record radio before a lot of people jumped into that.
Way before. and not to take nothing away, not saying I'm like the first to do it.
Right. You were one of the few. Yeah.
When Red Alert first got on radio back in the 80s, that's how he did it. It was all pre-recorded, for like maybe the first 2 years he was on KISS. Then he started doing it live because, for him back then, it was unproven. So being that they didn't really believe in it, they weren't investing in it. So it was best for him to do it, and they could just play the tape. It was easier to, do it that way. But moving, forward to my era, that was the way to do it because of location, kind of the lack of technology in a way, and the actual company not even having the means to allow you to come in and do it live, because they weren't, like I said, with Music Choice was never a radio station. It's television, it's video. It's closer to being an MTV than it is to be a Hot 97 technically. So I was doing that and just, once again, learning the game, just, learning different ways to do radio. Got used to being able to do pre-records. If you're pre-recording and your show's on at midnight and you're doing your show at 12 noon and it's sunny, you kind of have to adjust your attitude to kind of fit the mood. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to kind of learn that. It's almost like acting in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of got to learn how to have a mindset of when it's going to air and not what's going on when you're recording it. I tell a lot of people.
So you needed an angry set. And it was 12 in the afternoon when you were kind of happy.
Yeah. I had to learn how to darken it up, Can't be like, oh, the mix is great. Like can't be sounding like 12 noon when it's midnight. You gotta, it's just a whole different energy.
Oh, funny.
Shout out to everybody over here on the messenger, on the chat. See some names.
Yeah.
Jason.
Yo, we are just going down memory lane. So
and then quick footnote, just to backpedal. I'm doing this for my sister, by the way.
She making sure you got your executive.
I also was the official DJ for Tim Thompson, who was played with the Knicks, played with the Sixers, played with the Bulls. I was his official DJ for about almost 2 years. So whenever he would do parties and events, when he would come to town, I would do his events. So that was a thing. That was like what year was that? I'm looking on here. This is so horrible. Oh yeah, 2008, 2009.
Hey, don't worry. I got notes on the side of me too.
It is what it is, good people. I've done a lot. Get it all on top of the head is insane. I'm a big deal.
The big deal.
Yeah, but I DJ, official DJ for him, and like I said, I also did stuff with Donovan McNabb, his kids clinic for 3 years. Yeah, and like I said, those things came about with me being on radio in Philly. Like I was in the likeness of that type of energy, doing album release parties for different
Yeah.
groups and artists in New York, as well as here in Philly. I don't even want to get into all the events, but just a lot of major stuff being tied in, with being with the labels, dealing with the record labels and all that, put me in a whole different bracket of, the style of events that I was doing.
Right.
So now it wasn't just regular parties, so I wasn't the guy that was in the club, all the time. I would just do, special events with the labels. The payout on that was, enough I could fall back. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to be all aggressive and be in the clubs every Friday, Saturday night. I could kind of pick and choose. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Promoter don't want to pay me, I'll stay home. I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. I'll stay home, brother.
Wasn't doing that $50 party no more, huh?
You keep your little peanuts, boy. Good. You dig in your little man purse. You can keep that money. I ain't beat for that. You give it to that young guy that's trying to figure it out. I don't need it. You know what I mean? So I love that part, being able to kind of write my own ticket, and I've kind of kept it like that. And then to backtrack, also by the time basically around 1998, I went DJing full time. So from that point on up to this moment right now, that's the only work I've ever done. That's it. That's, after 98, I had no other job. It was just strictly DJing.
Right.
That was the other thing.
No record pool,
No, I still had the record pool. The record pool.
You still had the record pool. Okay.
Yeah, that's a part of the business of DJing. So yeah, I had the record pool. But I'm saying, as far as a regular job, like I didn't have no 401k and no 2-week vacation and no 12 sick days and 4 vacation days and all that little stuff.
The regular stuff.
I feel about that. Yeah, I'm not a fan, but yeah, that became. I was done with all that. Everything was into the DJing. So it was self-employed, doing what I wanted to do, DJing, using my talent, not giving up my time. Big difference. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I tell people now, I don't know what it's like to have a bad day at work. My worst day is not a bad day.
Because I love what I do. If your needle breaks, that's kind of a bad day, huh?
It is, but once again, better that than my back breaking from working in somebody's warehouse. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's just a different energy. Like, you're not, I can't. How mad can I get? I'm doing what I love to do. Like I said, and I'll still say it. My worst day is still a good day because I'm doing what I love to do. I'm doing what I'm passionate about. What I love to do. The concept of work doesn't exist in what I do.
Definitely.
I've been away from work for a good minute. Yeah. RIP to work.
Wait. Did your sister write that joke in too?
No, that's mine.
Okay, that's yours. That's original.
At the end of the day, I wrote this whole set. Don't I don't have no ghostwriters. No ghostwriters here.
Oh man. So now take us, we're mid 2000s, coming towards the end of the 2000s. Right?
Yeah, so we're like at 2008-ish, if you want to timeline it.
Take us to the end of that decade and all the stuff that went on and what happened.
Okay, still being on big radio. By 2008, Radio 1 makes a big change with the station here in Philadelphia. They get rid of a lot of people. On this go around, I'm on the chopping block. So after 10 years, let's do the math here, 10 years, which is a lifetime of doing radio in one market. You can hear about a person being on radio for 10 years and they might have been in 7 different cities. But I did 10 years in one market. Like I said before, keying in on that, it was the number 6 market in the country. There's only 5 markets bigger than the city that I was in. So in terms of getting a promotion, there was only 5 cities I could go to make more money than what I was making in Philadelphia. To kind of, give you an idea what that really means. So 2008, Radio 1 makes a big change. I get let go, still doing Music Choice. I'm still doing XM satellite radio, remember. And those platforms are just as big as what I got let go from. So it was a loss, but it wasn't a major loss. It was
A
just
horrible loss. We got a question from DJ Dan. He's asking, why were you able to DJ for a living when so many feel that they have to have a regular job? What's the secret? He's having that conversation tomorrow. What do you think your secret was?
The secret was my mindset, and a little bit. I'm just a little bit of my mindset and how I feel about work. I think work is whack. I think the whole concept of working for someone, giving them your time, because most of the time people, you know, if you don't have a career, you're really getting compensated for time. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You know, it's labor. You know what I'm saying? So I was never a fan of the concept of work. I was never a fan. Even before I decided I wanted to DJ and all that, I was never a fan of that concept. So with that in mind, and it grew as I got older, and then I come up with an idea of something that I'm passionate about, and I say I want to do this for a living. And it wasn't ideal. Like, I always got to stress that. I didn't grow up in the Yo MTV rap, you know, MTV,
era.
VH1, BET era. That didn't exist. So my thoughts were there was very few people that could understand what I was talking about doing.
Right.
It wasn't common. Everybody else was supposed to be a doctor and a nurse and a judge and a lawyer, you know, all these other things. I'm sitting around here talking about I want to be on the radio. Radio DJing. What are you talking about? You ain't gonna be no Jam Master Jay. You ain't gonna be no Grandmaster Flash. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, that wasn't an option. Like, you weren't supposed to want to be that. You were supposed to enjoy
Jazzy
that.
J, Jazzy Jeff.
All that. You weren't supposed to be those guys. You were supposed to enjoy them, you know what I'm saying, and appreciate their craft and what they do. But you wanting to be one of them was just, nah, that's not, you can't do that. It was almost equivalent to wanting to be a basketball player or a football player in a sense.
Right.
You know, I love, you know, so with me just being very locked in on wanting to kind of create my own path, and then I have to thank my grandmother, my nan. She was self-employed. So when I was like 10 or 11, this always stuck in my head, where we would live in New York and we would go see her in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. She had her, she did hair. She had her own shop. And I tell you, every time we would go down to visit her, if she had somebody there and she was doing their hair, that was the last person she dealt with for the rest of that day.
Because she had that option.
She's turning off lights, you know, jokingly, as I joke with my sister about it, we're going to IHOP. We done for the day. She's ready to entertain us and hang out with us and take us places and do things that had nothing to do with that shop.
Yeah. And
I love that concept. Now, I say that in the yin and the yang to that was like my dad. My dad worked 10, 12-hour shifts. He wouldn't come with us when we would go visit because he was at work.
Because he was at work. Or he was tired from being at work.
Well, either way, the concept was what he was doing. I wasn't like, I like how Nan turns off the lights and shuts it down and we go get into something. That concept I like, which at the time I didn't put together. I wasn't walking around at 11 and 10 saying I want to be self-employed. I just loved that concept of how she could end what she was doing and attend and deal with us.
Yeah.
I just thought that was crazy. So as I got older and realized that, then I understood what that was. So as I started working, I was like, every job I ever had, mentally in my mind, it was a part-time job. It was temporary. I wasn't going to do this the rest. I don't care what it was. The last job I had was probably the best job, you know, and I got it on a whim. And I was making good money at the time. It was a good job with a good company. The company was actually based out of London. So their ways of doing things was totally different. I had 100% medical. Vacations was crazy. For Christmas, you got off the whole month of December, stuff like that. So even at that, with all that, I still looked at that job as temporary. I was like, I'm not doing this mess for like the next 15, 20 years. You gotta be out of your mind. I wasn't put on this earth for that. That was just my mentality. So I never gave the job concept an opportunity to be the front runner, to kind of answer your question, Don. or Dan. It was never an option for me. Never. That whole thing, people, oh, you go to school and you get out and you get a job. I was like, yeah, man, not me. Everybody else, but not me. I'm doing something different.
He did say, wow, mindset. I get it. That's the secret.
and I'll say something that I said years ago that I heard Will Smith say. When you have a backup plan, your backup plan ends up being your plan. For those that don't have a backup plan and they're really about what they want to do, they will end up doing what it is that they set out to do. Because that's the only option. You create another option, that lesser option 9 times out of 10 is going to be the thing you end up doing. So that was something else that I didn't do. And when I heard Will Smith say it, I said, I was saying that like in the mid 80s. Oh my God. But people saying I was crazy for that. I was like, they were like, what's your backup plan? There's no backup plan.
This is
the plan. I got one plan. This is it. This is going to work. Why? Because I'm going to make it work. I'm going to will it to work. It's going to work. I'm talented enough that it will work. I believe in myself enough that it will work. I know I'm over here sounding like Kanye West, but that's the mindset you have to have. You're like, real talk. I love that dude for that. Like, but you have to be thinking like that. You can't be thinking like, well, if that doesn't work out, then I'll do this. Well, guess what? This will be what you do. And if you say doing whatever, picking up rocks, then that's what you're going to end up doing. You're not going to do that first choice. That backup plan will become the main thing. So, it was one plan, one determination, and that was it. And like I said, when I worked, it was just a concept to work and get money, gather up till I put myself in the right place, which all happened in 98, which allowed me to say I don't need to work for anyone financially to quote unquote be an adult and cover and do everything I needed to do financially.
Right.
So that was that.
Nice. So DJ Dan is saying, preach, brother, preach. For the super successful, there's no plan B. That is so deep, bro.
No backup.
That is so deep.
All
right. Back to what we were talking about, the end of the first decade in 2000. We were going there. Yeah, I know. We're already starting the third. We're already 2 years into the third decade in 2000s. Wow. Feeling old now.
Mind blowing. Look at these notes.
So the end of 2000s, where are you now? Because we're getting ready to get into, what you got now. And I don't know if you were thinking about the radio station back then because you were on so many of them.
I'll explain that.
Yes, go ahead.
So 2010, I'm still on Music Choice, still on XM Satellite. No. XM Satellite ends in 2009. That's when the merge happens. Man, that was a sad day. That conference call was horrible. Oh my God.
All the millions of people.
It was horrible. They got rid of all the urban departments, XM Radio. They had us all on a conference call. None of us were going over. None. Nobody in the urban department. None of the stations, none of the radio personalities. I think they brought some people on as the years, went on, but that initial, nobody. So that ends. The Philly, like I said, prior to that, the year before 2008, Philly ends, but I'm still doing Music Choice. Music Choice runs until 2013. So I'm still doing Music Choice. Staying afloat, still in the industry, float around because I'm still on a major platform. Meet some new people come into my life. Cat by the name of Craig Stevens. We meet up. He's kind of big brother. We're doing some things. He has a sound system, so we're doing events, and he's providing the sound, and I'm DJing. So we build a nice little rapport and relationship. He comes to me, and I was telling him about radio history because he wasn't really here for all that because he came from New York, moved down here to South Jersey. Because I was telling him what I've done, and some people were telling him, oh, you know, Cam used to be on, you know, so he's getting all the backstories, and then I'm chiming in and telling them, you know, what they might have missed or, you know, said a little off or whatever, or just, you know, tightening it up for him. But I'm still on Music Choice. So,
right.
Yeah, my daughter see you on there and da-da-da-da. He comes to me and says, yo, let's do a internet radio station. So I say, you know, and for people that know me, know that I'm quick with the no. I go hardcore with the no in seconds. So he's like, yeah, you know, he's kind of explaining it to me and everything, and keeping it 100. I'm totally clueless about everything he's talking about. I have no idea. No, I understand nothing with the internet and having a radio station on the internet. None of that makes sense to me. So I just hit him with a no, I'm cool. If you want to do it, go ahead, you know, but I don't want to participate. I'm good. And he's like, you know, keeps asking me, you know, he let a little bit of time go by, 2 weeks, a week or two, comes over, he gets to talking about it again. And I said, you know what, let me do a little homework on this. But I was still telling him no. So I do a little bit of homework. Like, I was like, wow, this actually sounds like something that can be done. Like, and it's not as costly as getting an FM radio station. You know, my mindset was, you know, for you to have a radio station, you had to buy a FM tower. So, you know,
right.
who's around with $5 million, even if it's available, because there ain't but so many, you know, stations available per market. So I was like, what's the chances? You know what I mean? Your timing got to be right. Your money got to be right. And, you know, it's no way, you know, so, wow, this can be done without a tower. And it doesn't cost millions.
And you can reach people all over the world.
And I was already in tune with that band. Yeah. Because I was already, like I said, with Music Choice, I'm heard all across the country. With XM, so I already knew of that concept. So I was definitely drawn in with that concept. I was very aware of it, had experienced it, was like, wow. And I said, this could be something like that and have ownership in it and it'd be yours. You make the calls and the decisions. I do a little more homework. Craig comes and talks, and he's talking some more, blah, blah, blah. Anybody knows Craig, he used to be in sales. So he's a good sales guy. He'll, you know, drill you. He's like a used car salesman, you know, you got that type of mentality. So he's, you know, pitching it, and I'm still kind of never said yes, still kind of slow rolling the no a little bit, like, nah, I don't know, man. I gotta see, I don't know. Where all the money coming from? Like, like, how are we gonna get up all this capital to get it started? And, you know, just asking questions, seeing where the mindset, but the questions are really leading to what the end result is. Because if I didn't want to be a part of it, who cares about where the finances are coming from?
Yeah.
But he's explaining all that, and I'm taking all that in, and he said, if we can get partners, maybe, you know, you know, all right. I said, all right. I said, you know what? I said, I'm down to do it, but a couple of rules, a couple of things that I want for me to come on board. Because at this point, I'm looking at it and I'm like, Craig DJs, but he doesn't know radio. And the people that we were talking about getting involved, no one knew radio but me. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use this to my advantage. Like, this station's gonna move the way I see fit. I'm gonna be the brains. I don't care what else happens. I don't care how you use the arms and the feet. But I know radio, so this station's gonna reflect me. Like, at the end of the day, however I see it to fit and move, that's my call to make. So I kind of had this little rundown of how I wanted to see things go. He was like, nah, I'm cool with that. Let's do it. So I say, yeah. And this, you know, literally maybe a month after he first brings it up, then we started moving on it. You know, I won't get into all the intimate details of that, but pieces of equipment started getting bought and shipped to the house, and stuff's at the front door. And you know what I'm saying? We're getting everything we need to get, and, you know, doing the homework and looking up what type of mics we need to get and how much they're going to cost and how many we think we need to get and all of that. So we're getting everything together to start this internet radio station. So that's what we did. We got everything together, the equipment, decided who was going to be involved in it partner-wise, not gonna get into that story. That's a whole nother interview. But we ended up starting the station. So 2012, actually on my son's birthday, that's the only reason I remember the date, August 24th, 2012, was the first day we started freeagentradio.com. This will be 10 years. So that's how that got started and added on to the plan. So that's been the movement, that's been the situation. I've used all of my, radio knowledge and relationships and things of that nature to get that off his feet, get it moving, and to do a lot of the behind the scenes thing and get people support with it, from industry cats and things of that nature, just leaning on people for favors and doing, because sometimes you got favors laying out there that you never use, so you figure, okay, now's the time to use it. It was one thing to use it when you were working for somebody else, but now that you got your own thing, this favor would really be helpful for me because I really need it for me directly. You know what I'm saying? So
we got a question.
We got some of those favors.
We got a question from Jason. He's asking, because we're getting ready to start the free agent radio saga. He's asking any turning points, any crisis where you thought about leaving DJing.
I never thought about leaving DJing.
Just, I'm done. I'm going to get a job.
No, that's like me just saying I'm gonna stop breathing. No, not at all. Not at all, Jason.
That goes back to that mindset.
That's right.
That goes back to that mindset.
Get a job? Well, I tell you what, before I got a job, I'd be a bum. I'll tell you the dogs. I'll tell you the story. I used to tell Toji this. When I used to tell Toji I wanted to do the DJing thing, and at the time, me and him were DJ partners. I'm teaching him, little things about DJing. And
DJ Toji.
Yeah, DJ Toji, getting him up to snuff. And I used to tell him, yo, this is what I'm doing. Like, he was going to college, like he had his plan, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, doing this DJing thing, man. I said, and if this don't work out, come visit me on Market Street and I'll be reciting the message, asking for some loose change. Because I said, like I said, going back to the joint, there's no B plan, dog. There is no backup plan. Like it absolutely does not exist. And the concept of, yeah, I'm gonna quit this DJ and just get a job. That sounds horrible. Like, to be honest with you, Jason just cursed at me. He really just he Eddie Murphy. You sound like Richard Pryor.
So to answer your question direct, Jason, no.
Like I said, not even on my worst day.
Not cut off my fingers, or I'm gonna be in Atlantic City in front of one of the casinos begging. Nothing.
Nah.
Just no.
Nope. No way. Nope. No bad days, man.
All right. Now the free agent radio saga begins. And it was all hunky-dory and dandy. You got 5 million people listening to the station, right?
5 million? Yeah, do I? I haven't checked the numbers. That's where we at. You said 5,000, 5 million. You said million?
Mill. Everybody wrote a mill.
Okay. Yeah, 5 million.
M-I-L.
5 mil.
So start this saga. You got partners in this. You had your boy talk you into doing the radio station. You set down some ground rules.
Yep.
Now what happened?
Yeah. We just we do it. A lot of transitions. I don't get into all that. That's like me. I'd rather name all the artists I ever met other than doing that. But had a lot of people on, gave a lot of people an opportunity. That's one thing that I definitely did. Was proud of it. Some of it, came back to bite me, but you live and you learn. But if anyone wanted to try to do radio that lived out in this area, free agent radio, thus be the free and the agent part, the opportunity was there. And I definitely gave it to people. Some took advantage of it. Some abused it. Some maybe in some cases just didn't understand what it all what the details were of trying to do any type of radio. But with doing internet radio, one, it was new. Internet radio, when we started back in 2012, it wasn't an established thing. Apps didn't even exist, to keep it 100. You had to literally go to a .com, you pull it up on the website. But there was no apps at the time. To build your fan base, you're starting from zero. You're not an established station that's been on for 20 years and you already have a built-in audience. Like, you're literally building your audience
as you go.
Yes. Like, we're 9 years of still building our audience. Like, it's that part never stops. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that was the other thing, so there was a lot of need for people that were on radio to self-promote, things of that nature. The social media thing is in effect. So that's a beautiful way and a free way to promote. A lot of people weren't taking advantage of that, weren't utilizing that. So, we had a revolving door of people coming in and out, but I was willing enough, long as somebody came across and wasn't, a complete idiot, I would give them a shot to be on radio. But for the most part, the majority of the people that came through just weren't prepared for the hustle of it, the work of it, but wanted all the glitz and glamour of it without putting in any work. And with the internet radio situation, or with any radio situation, you still have to invest in yourself. You still have to put in that work. You still have to grind out. You still got to let people know what you're doing so that they do listen. People have a lot of choices and a lot of options. And for them to decide to sit and listen to you 1 day a week, 5 days a week, 2 days a week, at a certain time every week, you have to groom them to that. You have to build them to that. You have to give them a reason to do that. Like, it's a whole lot, and people just aren't built for it. Once again, that goes beyond just the people on air. That goes for, the people that own the station and run the station as well. You have to invest and share it and let people know about it, talk about it, give them reason to give it an opportunity, just one shot. If you don't like it, that's cool. Don't listen anymore. I get it. Everything's not for everybody, but it only takes one. Then one becomes two. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a slow growth. You got to start somewhere. Yeah. So that's pretty much what's been going on, for the last 9 years. It's just growing the brand. The good thing is, I bring a lot of traffic to the station. With me having the history that I have, allows a lot of people to give the station a real shot, because there are people that say, oh, I used to listen to him on Music Choice, or I used to listen to you on Philly radio. So the concept of listening to me on this platform, they'll give it a fair shot. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a little different, being that I am the boss. I can do things the way that I see fit, where I wasn't necessarily always allowed to do that in Philly. I didn't abuse that when I was on XM. I didn't abuse that when I was on Music Choice. But with this platform, it's how I see fit. And if people rock with it, they're going to go with it. If it's not their cup of tea, they're not going to stay. They'll go elsewhere. And I get that. Like, everything's not for everyone, but there is a percentage of people that will get what it is you're trying to do when you stay consistent, that will ride with you, and be a part of what you're doing, be a part of that movement. Like, I've actually developed friendships from people that were, or started out as listeners. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
At this point, they're no more listeners. They're actually my friends. We're talking 8-9 year friendships, where people, where we first met was just from them listening and supporting the station, listening to the station every day while they might have been at work or what have you. So
yeah,
it's a grind, and everybody's not built for it. It's not for everybody. That's why you don't see, jokingly, I'm trying to say it, this is why you don't see a lot of DJs with no internet radio station, because it takes a lot of work. It's not all about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to my man DJ B. Shout out to my man Lonnie B. There's a couple of DJs, that have their own platform and doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a lot of cats that are doing it. because it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of your time, you know, and it's beyond you. It's not you just building you. You're building, you know, a brand that's separate from you, you know. So
Wow.
that's
Definitely
that's the
it's a
vibe.
grind, I know, because
Mhm.
anything that you do, even what we're doing here, the interviews, when you're just starting off, you have everybody starts at zero.
Yep.
And Jason put in the comments something about consistency,
Oh yeah.
and you really have to have that,
Yes.
because some people quit or stop before their time is ready.
Hmm.
And when you
It's not a microwave situation.
right,
Like,
it's
you
not
know,
a microwave. You got to
gotta
set
put
it
it in
on.
the
You got to
oven.
put it in the oven on 200 and
I put it
not,
at 400, but you know,
well, if you can, you could put it in at 400 and still be
400,
hot.
400, 350. You know what I'm saying?
But you
Like,
had an advantage with this than other people would have had, because you were on radio already. And like
yeah.
you
Oh,
stated
definitely.
this a few minutes ago, people were already used to hearing you on the radio.
Yes. So that definitely helped. That definitely gave us our, you know, I'll joke and say our start number wasn't necessarily zero. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yep.
started out with numbers just because of the fact I had a fan base, you know what I'm saying, that we could pull from. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say everybody that listened to me on those bigger platforms just came over to free agent, because that wasn't the case. That would be beautiful if it happened, but that's not how it worked, because of, once again, the internet was new. You had to go on the website. Then the apps came. Everybody wasn't dealing with the apps. Back in the day when
Yeah.
we first started the app, some people would charge you $1 to $5 to download the app. And
Some
everybody
people
got
got
hip.
used to not doing that.
Yep. And then people got hip to don't charge for the app because you want them to download it. Then it became free. Then you, at that point, you're trying to resell something for free that you once had a price tag on. That don't always go over good. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
people always remember it cost something. So
Yep.
now, why is it free? You know, now they're questioning the quality of the product. Why did you go from charging something to it being free? What's that all about? You know what
Mm-mm.
I'm saying? Like, that's just the nature of
Yeah.
people. So you have to fight. You had to fight through that, you know. And then people, now that the phones are becoming more savvy, the app thing's starting to make sense. So people have your station on their app, and it's a choice. And they realize now all they got to do is hit a button and it'll come on, or they can set it on their phone and set a timer that station just comes on at a certain time and
Mm.
turns off at a certain time. You know, where before it wasn't like that, but it grew into that. So as it got a little easier, you started being able to snatch up people a little easier, because it was the concept, you know, people are starting to understand it. You know, what was not understood in 2013 now is understood and makes sense in 2022.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The phone and the, you know, back in 2011, 12, 13, everybody didn't have a cell phone. Everybody didn't have an iPhone. You know what I mean? But
I
now,
had a cell phone, but not one of them with them types. I had one of them
yeah,
cheap,
so
either
everything,
flip phones or something.
yeah, so everything, you know, as it grew, it allowed us to, you know, as a station, to grow our audience, because
Yeah.
now it became easier to be able to get us. I think that, you know, for me, the app was probably the biggest shift for us once we finally, you know, got an app, which I created myself. You know, I want to pat myself on the back with that. All
You're a
right, so
big
what?
deal. You're a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, I'm a big deal. And so what? It took me a month. Who cares? It's only because I told you. I could have told you I did it in an hour. If I told you it took 30 days, so what? Where's your app at? You do an app in 30 minutes, whatever.
30 days.
Now, if I had to do it again, it would probably take me 30 days again.
Mm.
But these are
So
things
now
you got to do.
you started the radio station. This is 2012.
Mhm.
You already had somewhat of a following. How how did how did the radio differ from anything else you did? Because in my mind, you were just a player on some of these other stations. And
Right.
now with this, you have to be the player, the manager, the production assistant, the janitor, everything.
Yes. Everything. Yep. That's where it
So
changed. I had to do everything. You know what I mean? Like,
take us a little through that. I think it's
um,
interesting for people to understand
the
what it takes.
main thing is at this point, me being DJ Cam, that hat has to come off.
Hmm.
I just need to be the program director of the station. So now that goes into, okay, where are we going to get the imaging? Where are we going to get the source of the music? The selecting of the music. Are you going to involve other people, or is that just a decision you're going to make? Of course, I picked the latter. I'll pick it. I know what I'm doing, so I don't need the help. Just like, for
I
people
don't
that
need
know me,
that type of help, right?
I don't. That's like me needing a
You
request.
already had the music already, so
Yeah, yeah. But then too, the difference in that, there's a difference in that. I hate when people say just because you're a DJ, you'll be able to program a radio station. That's false. Because what you play as a DJ, naturally, that music is made to encourage people to dance and party. That's a very small percentage of music, right? If a DJ does an event, what's the motivation? What is his job ultimately to do? To get people to dance. There's a ton of music that gets made that is not dance motivated, but it's still good music.
But it's still good music. Yep.
The radio's not driven to make you dance. It's just driven for you to have something to listen to while you're doing something else for the most part.
Another mindset shift.
Yes. So you can't program a radio station in the mind of a DJ being said by a DJ. Pause. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't work. That's not the answer. The answer is not to start a radio station and just hire any DJ and think it's going to work. You got to hire a DJ that understands music and the different moods of music, the different types of music, the different styles of music, the different eras of music, and what's good music, what's feel good music. The concept of regular radio with the whole concept of you hear radio stations say stuff like they play the hits and stuff like that. I've been on radio now collectively for probably almost creeping on 20 years. I'm still wanting that answer. What is a hit record? What is it? I know what a feel good record is. I know what a good record is. I know what a good record is. For instance, Eric B for President came out in 1986. Came out in 1986. I still play that record to this day. It's 2022. That's not a hit record because it was never a hit.
Yeah.
It was never a popular record that everybody loved. The radio stations did not embrace that song. So it obviously wasn't a hit, but it's a feel good song. It's a good record. And it's proven it throughout the years. Another example, Frankie Beverly and Maze, Before I Let Go. The song never charted. That song was never a single. That's probably their most popular record they ever made, and it never charted. Feel good, not a hit. So then I asked, jokingly to radio in general, what's a hit record? What is that? What does that mean for real? Because hit records don't last for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
They might last for 3 months. They don't last 20, 30 years.
A month, 2 weeks.
So in that concept, I'm going to go with feel good. Feel good is going to have a longer run. So if I'm creating a station, I'm not chasing hit records. I'm going to chase feel good records, feel good music. I think that'll help me keep people, coming to the station and maybe coming back. You understand what I'm saying? So
now you do one
thing.
You do one thing. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted everybody to know you do one thing that a lot of other DJs don't do. You keep your station clean.
Oh yeah.
Meaning the music, non-cursing, no bad language, anything. And that, for some people that could be like, why? You could do whatever you want. But my theory is you can get into places playing clean music that somebody else playing dirty music won't be able to get into.
Yes.
A barber shop, you know, where
Done.
they have kids constantly coming in there. You
Mhm.
can get into those places like that.
Yes, done that. Do that. Currently that. Yes, exactly. That was my whole purpose. Once again, when we started the station, that was the other thing. It has to be clean. Meaning it has the opportunity to be heard and driven anywhere.
Yep.
Even if people don't like the style of music, it's still something that can be played because it's not quote unquote harmful to the ears. It's not offensive. Where when you jump into the lane of saying, okay, we're going to do a radio station, and even calling it a radio station, that point when it goes dirty, is, to me, in my mind, is a concept. It's not even a radio station. That's a mixtape. But the minute you
Mixtape
go into
station.
that, you lose the audience that you can attract. To me, you've lost almost definitely more than half. I'm gonna say jokingly 60 to 70%. So now you're dealing with 30%. And then to make the assumption that the full 30% is going to participate, you got to break that number down.
Mm-hmm.
So in my little theory, if you have a station that's playing dirty and I'm playing clean, on default, I'm gonna have a bigger audience than you.
Right.
Because I appeal to a wider audience. So even when my numbers are low, being I have a larger spread, my numbers are going to do better than yours because you're only dealing with you're dealing with a smaller percentage.
Yep.
Even if it's half of my audience. You know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't make sense. I've never, even in the clubs, when I got on radio, I stopped playing dirties in the clubs. I just played cleans in the clubs. And honestly, I hope I'm not jinxing myself, but to this day, I've never had a complaint.
Why you didn't play the cursing version? And it's true, everything you're saying, you know, going back to what you talked about Will Smith. You know, all his music, all the music he makes is clean. He'll curse up a storm in a movie, but what mom or dad is going to have their kid at that sponge age, which is, you know, 3 to 7, 8 years old, where they just kind of absorbing everything, and you constantly playing foul music, foul languaged music.
Yeah, like I don't know. To me, it just, when I got on radio, my ears really got sensitive to cursing. Like really went left. But even before that, I was conscious of it.
Cussing.
You know, certain things was just too much. So, you know, you can go to your weddings and things of that nature, you know, family reunions. Like, you know, I know a lot of DJs have gotten conscious of it since we've gone to the computer. So, you know, they're more conscious of having clean music versus dirty music.
Yeah.
But when cats were buying records, you know, me being a cat that worked in a record store and was a co-owner of it, I saw how DJs came in and bought their music. They didn't care if it was clean or dirty. I got this wedding, I need the so-and-so record. I'm like saying to myself, that Jordan got but a dirty version, and he's buying that record today. I know the words to it because I've been in the store
bootleg version of it.
That too, but he's buying the song and doesn't know it. I can take that same song and bleep out the curses because I actually know the song because I've been in the store for the last 20 days because the record came out 19 days ago.
Yeah.
So I know the song at this point. He's buying it right off the shelf. He doesn't know it like that. And he's about to go do an event that night or that next day. So that means them curses is going to hit. So if you're doing a wedding or something like, and that might not be the ideal situation, you know, that you want, but a lot of DJs back then, you know, they didn't care. They just wanted to have the music.
Right.
Clean or dirty, they didn't care. You know, but if you played in a club, it was a little different. When you start doing those private events, when grandparents are there and the parents are the ones paying you, and like you said, if they got some younger kids running around at the event or what have you, now everybody's ears are a little more sensitive to what's being played. You know, and if you're playing dirties, it's not a good look. So my mindset always was, I guess, just programmed to clean. If radio's playing that version of it, that's the version I need to be playing when I'm out.
Yeah.
That was just the safest way to go. And then we got when the computers came into play, it made it easy. So when I started downloading music, I said the easiest way to do this is just I don't download any dirty music. So if you was to look at my hard drive, maybe 85 to 95% of my hard drive is nothing but clean music. If I have dirties, it's only on default because I couldn't find a clean.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll do is take the time to learn the song to bleep
And
out.
then clean it up. Yep.
I'll do it live on the spot. I'll just bleep them out, hit the line button and take those words out, just turn the music down when those words hit, So, but that's just the way that I think. That's it. And a lot of that had to do with me being so in tune with radio,
right?
As a kid and growing up. And then when I finally got on radio, I think that's when it really settled in, So that's how I deal with that. But
nice. So we're almost 2 hours into this. So
I ain't really, time was right up there that whole time. Okay.
Let's go from the 2010 to where we are now and what you're doing, what you're getting ready to do. If you want to share some of that.
Let's share some of it. All right. Yeah. Well, the main thing is this: Free Agent Radio. If you don't have the app, download the app. Commercial time. That's the main thing. That's what I'm doing. That's what's going on. That's what's locked in. Shout out to my man Jonathan. We're doing a lot of things. We're not real public about what we do and what we're setting up. It just happens. But we're working on a lot of things in terms of radio, syndication stuff, and a lot of other little things. Those things are in the work in the background.
Jason saying this is radio. Yeah, this is our new show. I'm gonna just interview DJKam for the rest of the time.
The rest of the
next 100 episodes.
Let's do it. I don't care. Got enough to talk about. So we're doing the Free Agent Radio thing. Broadcast Hip Hop Network is tied in. We were partnered up, so got a lot of good things coming from that. And what else? Once again, like I said, I'm on every day from 10 to 1, Monday through Friday. Do a mix at noon. Pretty soon, we're working on me being visual with the 12 o'clock mix. So that's going to be something that we do. I won't say where it's going to be seen at, but we're going to do that. And
Not yet, yes.
on legal. It'll be seen on legal platforms. It won't be on any of the bootleg platforms where you get muted and cut off. None of that. We're doing it where the artists get their royalties and the money's being paid out for the songs being played and things of that nature. I'm big on that because I do have a publishing, or had a publishing contract. So I understand the concept of copyrights and things like that. So I respect it too much to, go against it. So we're working on that. So we'll be doing that sooner than later, but all those stuff will be announced on social media when the time comes. But the main thing right now is Free Agent Radio. If you don't have the app, download the app. If you don't listen, give us a listen. Give us a shot. Like I said, we play a lot of music, man. We 90s, early 2000s to the music of today. We don't play the young trap music. I kind of consider the station very adult, even though I do touch new music, but it's the right new music. On the weekends, we get into the older music. We get into some of the 80s and the 70s music on the weekends. Sunday, just about all day is feel good music from the 80s and the 70s.
Sundays, bro. That has got me out of a funk many a times. That Sunday, I'm into old school music, disco and the whole nine, old school hip hop, and that Sunday just gets me, bro.
Yeah, we call it Grown Folk Sundays, and it runs from 10 in the morning to 10 at night on Sundays, all day Sunday. So like I said before, if you want to check it out, check it out. Also got a new thing that we added on Free Agent, which we hadn't done for the whole run that we've been on. Never played slow music. So I started a slow jam show that airs, the times are probably going to change, so I don't even want to say the times, but currently right now it's on from 10 to midnight, Sunday through Thursday. So you can check that out. And also Saturday and Sunday morning from, is it 6 in the morning? 6 or 7 in the morning to 10 o'clock. So we also had the slow jams as well. And that covers 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So we cover all the bases. We get into the old school, we deal with the current music, and everything in between. You know, the people say the 90s was the golden era, so we deal with the golden era, you know, Monday through Friday throughout the day, all day. So, you know, like I said before, you know, you give it a shot, you'll get a feel for what we do if you listen for about a half an hour. It'll kind of let you know what we playing and what we doing. But you'll definitely hear a lot of new music, a lot of different music, and some music that'll be perceived as new, but it might be a song that's literally 6 or 7 years old, but regular radio never played the song. But I decided to play it because I felt as though it was a good enough record to be played and to put in the rotation. So, you know, you're definitely going to get to hear a lot of different stuff listening to Free Agent Radio. And scene. So. That was a long infomercial.
For real. About what was the station again?
Oh, Free Agent
Radio.com.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that is so dope. Hey, for those who don't know, the DJ interview runs on freeagentradio.com every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
I know y'all didn't know that. But we're really starting to bulk this thing up right now because, you know, we're making a lot of moves.
Yep. So you can get to hear a lot of the older interviews that were done.
Yeah.
You know, so you get to catch up or see, you know, hear ones that you haven't heard or didn't know about at all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Check it out, man. We're doing a lot over here at Free Agent. And we even have I might as well promote that, a new morning show, Ray Daniels morning show just started this week. So that's from 6 to 10 Monday through Friday. It's a live show, and they're syndicated, so it's not like just locked into Free Agent, but it's a good show. So I picked them up, and we're running them in the mornings to give us that morning traffic to get the day going. Because I've always noticed when we had a morning show, it's always increased our numbers when we start out with a show and the first thing in the morning, it sets the tone for the rest of the day. So we have that in effect. I think he has a decent show, good show. So, you know, check it out. Get a chance. Once again, a lot of.
And Free Agent Radio isn't just in the U.S. either.
Oh, no.
You get played, you get listened in the UK and Germany.
London and Germany, huge, big. And consistent.
Yes.
That's for real. Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's the advantage of what an internet station has over your regular, how do you say that word? Terrestrial radio.
This FM radio.
FM. Yeah, FM
station. I don't know who came up with that big word.
I know. It's a tongue twister.
FM or AM. That's all it is. That's all it is. Good people.
But you definitely have that advantage because one, you can download the app so you can be anywhere. Mm-hmm. 2, you can go on the internet. So wherever in the world there's internet, you can listen to it. I mean, now the stations are doing that a lot, but your regular FM stations, they only have a radius.
Yep.
You know, it could be 20 miles or it could be 50 miles. and that's about it.
Yep. And to kind of let you know how big internet radio got, the fact that you had any FM station to create, and I'll just make up a number, a $500 app, and have it posted or set up on the internet speaks volumes about what internet radio is doing right now. Because they invest so much money in that FM tower when we're talking millions.
Yeah.
And to go ahead and make a $500 app to be able to have people listen to the station kind of speaks how much they cannot ignore that situation. Because if I owned something that was in the millions, but then I had to go back and invest and create something that only costs $500 for people to still be able to listen to the same platform, that would bother me to no end.
Yeah,
that would be a bit of a thorn for me, because I would forever be trying to figure out, why do I have this $5 million investment if I'm doing a $500 situation, getting and it's doing the same exact thing. And like you said, you're able to hear that throughout, not just a region, not just a certain area. Crazy. But that kind
Jason
of
is saying there needs to be some foodie shows on Free Agent Radio.
Foodie. Oh, you mean like a cook show?
Uh-huh. Talking about recipes and meals and how to cook stuff. And
just a thought. Somebody come up with it. I mean, that's not for me to do, but yeah. But don't you think people would need to see that? I don't know. Wouldn't they want to
hear that?
Like to hear it? I mean,
well, it's big. It's big on Clubhouse.
Oh yeah,
it's big on Clubhouse. Yeah.
Oh okay.
It right, definitely is. So
I know, as me being a new person that's cooking, I need the visual.
Yeah,
but I'm new. Maybe we're speaking in the minds of people that know how to cook, then they don't need that visual. You know, they hear how you put something together, and then they know how to do it. I know for me, I need to see
it. Yeah, me too. I need to see my food. He says interviews on behind the scenes. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. We'll set it up. We'll have my people call your people. Or Cam's people call your people.
I got people. Anything's possible, bro. Like my station's not filled up with DJs, you know, DJing on the platform. I got variety shows. I got a lady, Leslie Grace, who speaks on finances. Doctor. She does finances and things like that. Have a DJ Wiz who has a gospel show. You know, there's a variety. It's a lot of things moving over here. You know, at the end of the day, it's not just, you know, people think because DJKam runs the station that I got 40 DJs DJing.
And that's it.
I think on my roster is 1, 2, maybe 4 DJs. Maybe 5 if I include myself, like real talk. Like if you think about it, like really you only got 5 DJs. You know. So it's not, you know,
it's an actual radio show. It's not a fly-by-night thing.
Yep.
How long have you been up? HeavyHitter DJKam on your radio station? How long has it been going?
Oh, 9 years. We're creeping on 10 years in August.
Decade in August. 10 years.
August 24th to be exact, which is also my oldest. It's his birthday. That's how I remember the date.
And to think in 10 years how many other internet stations then came and went.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you're still hanging around,
ain't going nowhere.
So that says big things. What's up, international DJ Tommy Lee?
Yep. Yeah, you gotta, once again, the consistency. And you got to lock in. I mean, if you look at my whole career, it's all based on being consistent, locked in. Like I've never been in 1 year, 2 year situations. You know, when I told you I was in radio in Philly, collectively, I've been on radio in Philly for 16 years. I didn't even mention, but just to throw that in, after 2008 of not being on the radio in Philly, in 2015, I got the opportunity to come back to radio. Same company, Radio 1. But I was on the adult contemporary station at that point. With that until the pandemic. So what was that? March of 2020. You know, they have a lot of people off. I was a part of that layoff. But they got another 5-year run, you know, on radio in Philadelphia, another 6-year run on radio in Philadelphia as well. So, you know, once again, consistency is everything. You know, like I said, 16 years in Philly radio. 9 years on XM satellite, 8 years on Music Choice, you know, 4 almost 5 years on WPRB, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about putting that time in, you know.
Yeah.
That's how you build, you know, and then once again with the free agent, this year will be in 10 years, you know, a decade. Like that's big.
Yeah. That is like
so you gotta put the time in.
Mad big.
Put the time in.
Hit it again.
Yep. Where'd it go? Oh,
there we go.
So delay. What was that all about? You gotta work on that timing.
I didn't hit the button. I'm on that 10-year party.
Yeah.
Oh, but that is so dope, bro. So anything else you need anybody to know who's listening from live or the recording about Heavy Hitter DJKam, Free Agent Radio, and everything else that you've done and about to start doing again?
Not just support, support a brother if you do. If you don't, that's still a level of support because that's motivation. I use that too. I tell people all the time, I base my career on an away game. I'm not the home team, so I've never been the favorite, never been in that position. So I like playing against the room, kind of that Reggie Miller concept of playing in the Garden, even though I'm a Knicks fan. But I like that, the whole booing thing. Yeah, I'll take that.
You
That's
take it?
motivation. It doesn't keep me from scoring 50. I'll go ahead and put the double nickel on you. Like that's the motivation. So if you support, thank you. If you don't, thank you. You know what I'm saying? So we're just gonna keep moving with Free Agent. Of course, me just DJing. If you need me for any DJing services, you can get at me at any social media situation at DJKam609 on Instagram, Twitter, or you can email me at DJKam609@gmail if you need me for any DJing services. But I will tell you the price, as Fat Joe says, the price has gone up, but my price has always been up. So the numbers have to be right. I just don't come out to DJ for the favor or for a friendship. The money has to be paid. This is what I do for a living. I have 2 boys that I'm raising. So there's no favors. I'm pretty sure you don't do favors at your job, so I don't do them at mine. So respect is respect.
So let's show them a little about what they're going to see when they go to Free Agent Radio.com,
the website. Boom.
This is the website.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take that logo from down there. And it's a simple and clean website. Nobody's coming here to find out what happened in the hip hop world. You're only coming to, you guys see my mouse going over that green icon?
Mm-hmm.
There's a play button right there. You click on that play button, and that's what you do. And you see in the name, most of that will always say clean. Or clean version, or somewhere in there.
Even if it doesn't say it, it's still clean.
If it doesn't say it.
Yep.
What we added, the feature we added the other day, this is brand new. You can click here to request a song. Right. And when you do click it, it will go to where you can request a song.
Mm-hmm. It's a long list.
It's a long list. You can do a search. I'm a big LL fan. So I'm going in there looking for LL Cool J. And now when you start typing, there's a whole bunch of LL Cool J songs.
Right.
You pick your song. You go let's do that one. You confirm your request. You click on the checkbox at the bottom left-hand corner, and that confirms it. Your song is going to be played.
Now, keep in mind, if there's a live show on or a active show, the request won't play because, it's a live, show or pre-recorded show. But if it's just music being played, that's when the request will happen.
Yes.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. So if you hear people on there talking, like for instance, if you try to do it during the morning show, it's not going to play your request during the morning show because the morning show is running live and it has its own program and it's not going to acknowledge that request like that. That's only acknowledged through the system when the station's in an automated setting. I know that was a little complicated and wordy, but
If it's a live show, your request is not going to go through until it gets some pre-recorded music there.
Yeah.
We can come in the middle where you see the broadcast schedule and see everything that's playing and what's
on
playing
now.
currently. This says on the air. You get your top 10 songs that's playing on Free Agent right now.
Yep, it rotates. That rotation changes probably in every hour. The settings and the numbers change.
Look at that. Black Rob. Whoa.
Nice. R.I.P. Black Rob.
And it's it's not just one type of genre. You know, you go from Faith Evans to Black Rob to DJ Khaled. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So this is dope. I just wanted everybody to see that. Let me stop sharing. Get you back up on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, my brother, we are gonna start to wrap this thing up. Anybody have any questions to our live audience?
And shout out to everybody that's tuned in, listening. Appreciate it.
Yes.
On the live air and the re-air. Thank you.
Yes. Especially the guys on the live and especially the people who's going to watch the replay. Thank you so much. This was the finishing of the 40 years and we just had to get this in. So thank you, Cam, for providing everybody music for this long. We heard from Cool DJ The Red Alert, giving Cam a shout out earlier, and this has just been so dope. And it has to end.
Well, the interview does, but
the interview, yeah. We're gonna keep promoting and doing everything so you guys can come on, start following DJKam, the radio station, freeagentradio.com, and everybody who's associated with us.
Download the app. Download the app. Download the app.
Download the app. I think I heard that somewhere. Download the app.
Yep.
It's on Apple and Android.
Yes. Download the app. Yeah.
You might want to download that app.
Yeah. And shouts out to everybody who's tuned in and download the app.
Download the app.
Matter of fact, shout out to download the app.
My brother Cam, we are gonna sign off. I thank you so much for
thank you
for all of this. Man, this has been like it. So let's take them out. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time on the DJ interview. I am your host, Harry the Big Dog, and we had Heavy Hitter DJKam. You can look for DJKam
at DJKam, Instagram,
DJKam 609 and all the social medias. Also, you can probably look at freeagentradio.com.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much. We'll take a quick look around. Jason is saying this on point. Tommy is saying what app? Not what
radio app. Radio app.
We got great show. Download the app. I think somebody caught on. Download the app.
Yeah, in case you didn't, or in case you can't see that, it says download the app. Free Agent Radio, that is.
Oh, but thank you so much for this interview and putting us in your world. Heavy Hitter DJKam.
Thank you, brother.
We're gonna take this out of here.
All right, one more time.